Alrighty, YouTube, this is my 1999 Dodge Dakota SLT with a 5.2 and obviously a turbo in the bed. And I've had a couple people ask to kind of go over the build, well, if you want to call it a build, but kind of go over it and give them an idea of what they would have to buy to do this to theirs. So that's what I'm gonna do today. If there's some wind noise, sorry, it's very windy. I do want to say this is strictly for fun, and I am not responsible for you damaging your vehicle, your motor, anything. I am not responsible, so take that into account. I guess to start, you're gonna need exhaust. Now in my case, I got lucky, the exhaust was already cut pretty much right at the back of the cab, so needed about a foot or two to extend it. And then just bought a 90 and a couple straight sections from O'Reilly's and welded them up in there and cut a hole in the bed. So that's pretty self-explanatory. At least I hope it's pretty self-explanatory. This, I believe, is, oh man, yeah, 2-inch PVC, schedule 40. So that was probably in total maybe 20 bucks. Well, with the bends, probably like 30 bucks. Obviously, primer and cement, glue them together. So let's get on to the heart of the operations. This is a Garrett T4 twin scroll turbo off of an old diesel. I don't know what old diesel, but it's off of like a 7.3 or something. It's non-VGT, just a twin scroll rear housing, so, or turbine housing. Wastegate is literally just a gigantic spring that's been tuned properly to make about 8-9 pounds, and then, you know, that's the low boost setting right there, and then we have the high boost setting right there. You just pull the spring out, put it in there, and it'll make like 14-15 pounds. This is the most crude oiling system I could think of, and it is a bucket or container full of about 5 quarts of Supertech oil, and then we got a pulse pump for, this is like a fuel pulse pump, usually for garden tractors. It does not output very much oil at all. It's maybe half a pound of oil pressure, probably even less, but it does flow oil. And this is an old journal bearing turbo. As long as there's oil in it, it'll be fine, at least for what I'm doing. I've driven this like it was a 20-minute drive out here. It made it just fine. I've done this drive probably 5-6 times now, and not a single issue. Just to go over it, we got some O'Reilly's exhaust. Just extend that exhaust about a foot, 90 degree, and then up through the bed. You just cut a hole in the bed. Homemade flange. I don't know if you can see that. It's definitely not as thick as it needs to be, but it does the job. And just bolted a turbo right onto it, and then from there, schedule 42-inch PVC. That is a 90 degree. That's a 22.5, 23.5. Forgot what bend. And this is a 45. And then the truck already had this intake on it, so I literally just rotated the intake a bit and it fits perfect. There is a boost controller in the truck, or not a boost controller, sorry, a boost gauge in the truck, just mounted with some self tappers, and this is the sender for it. Just wired that in, and the oil pump is actually ran off a switch directly from the battery. I'm not even going to show underneath the hood because there's nothing to show. It's completely stock, other than I deleted the PCV, which is quite literally just pulling the hose off and plugging both ends, and we're good to go. Actually, I want to clarify, I didn't plug the end on the valve cover. That has a rag over it, or filter, so you don't want to plug that. But yeah, pretty self-explanatory. It's kind of a rig. Hopefully this answered everyone's questions, and if you guys have any more questions, just let me know and I'll try to answer them.